Shalom, shalom. Ani Yochanan ben Yisrael. All right. So, Mishpachah, we talk for real. Now that we've gotten past the sterile, mundane introduction to all of this, let's talk for real. We're all adults. So, let's talk about this for real and what this text is saying for Genesis 1 or Bereshit 1, 1 through 5. Let's get real for a minute. So let's read through it. Bereshit bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Ve'ha'aretz hayata tohu wabohu. Ve'choshef al pnei tohom ve'ruach Elohim. Merachapet al pnei hamayim. Ve'amer Elohim yehi or. Ve'yehi or. Vayera Elohim et ha'or kitob. Vayabdel Elohim vein ha'or uvein ha'choshech. Vayikra Elohim la'or yom ve'lachoshech kara laila vayahi ereb vayahi boker yom echad. Alright, so let's address this from a whole nother angle now. Alright, so Bereshit, as I had said in a previous video that I did, Bereshit does not mean, as the English says over here, in the beginning. It does not mean that. There would have to be some phonological pickup of a class vowel to represent the definite article, the hey definite article. So, and that would be phonologically, that would come out as an A class vowel. So that first letter, that bait, hopefully you can see me touching it right there. That bait, you see the two dots under it. That's called a schwa. That wouldn't be a schwa. That would be a kamatz or a patach. Actually, it would be a patach. So it would be Bereshit, whereas now we have Bereshit. So this is in a beginning. This isn't a definite thing like the beginning, the start. This is the first time this has ever happened. It's not there. It doesn't exist within the text at this point. It's not talking about the very beginning of something. It's talking about a beginning, a new beginning, something happening. It's not the only beginning. We know that it's not the only beginning just by the way that the text reads, and when we go further down in the text, we'll see how it's not the only beginning. This was a restart per se. So Bereshit bara Elohim. All right, bara is a third person masculine singular call stem verb, meaning it's a basic verb. It's this basic function. It just means to create or to fashion or to make. It's in the third person masculine singular, and then you have the word Elohim. Elohim has the root Eloha or Eloah. Eloah. It has the root Eloah, but it also, this Elohim possesses the chirik yod mem masculine plural suffix. We hear all types of I guess you would say rhetoric with Elohim being, even though it's plural right here, it's talking about Yahweh. It's talking about one deity. But that couldn't be so. And the reason that couldn't be so is because if they're using this as a majestic plural or the royal we, where there's a plurality speaking about, where one is being spoken about in a plurality, what would have to happen is that in cognate languages, they would have to show this functioning, or they would have to show it functioning in that manner in Hebrew. And they can't. Scholars haven't done it. Nobody has been able to do it. You can't show it functioning in the languages that were, or that are closely related, like Ugaritic, showing it functioning as a majestic plural, indicating that, all of these powers are involved and rolled into one, is not there. It can't be proven. The majestic plural goes back, I think, to the Byzantine era or something like that, Justin Martyr, which is well after the creation of the Torah. So as far as its first use being, this was the majestic plural first being used. That was way after the Torah was created and after the Torah was fashioned. So you can't say, somehow this works in retrospect for a text that was already created. You would have to show this using the languages that are related to it and the languages that are older to it, and it doesn't exist in any of the other Semitic cultures. It's just not there. So Bereshit bara Elohim. So in the beginning. Oh, and we have to have verb subject agreement. How do we get verb subject agreement? Because the word bara is singular, because that comes up a lot. So they say bara Elohim is singular. So even though it's plural, Elohim is plural, it has to be talking about one entity. Well, technically, Elohim is speaking about one entity and not multiple entities. It's called a pantheon or a consortium. This can be taken back into older cognate languages as well as older religious texts, showing a group doing this creating. And which is the same thing that you're seeing here. If you read further in the text, which we're not going to get to today, you have the Genesis 1:26 account where it says, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness." They switch everything around, but you still have verb subject agreement with it being with that being plural. If you have the consortium speaking amongst themselves or the pantheon speaking amongst themselves, saying, "Let us do something," so that's how you get the us, and it becomes plural. And again, you can verify this in older texts. So Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim. Hashamayim being the atmospheres, the skies, the expanses. And of course it has the et direct object marker as well, the aleph tau here, if you can see where my finger is touching on the screen. Hashamayim we et haaretz. So, and of course the definite article, the definite object marker again, haaretz. So we et haaretz. So in a beginning, Elohim fashioned, created, or made. The pantheon fashioned, created, or made the heavens and the earth. Haaretz hayta tohu. This is verse 2, or beit. If you can see me touching now, that's what we're reading. Haaretz hayta tohu wabohu. So, and the earth became, well, let's do it like this. And the earth, where you see my finger touching, became tohu wabohu. All right. So, what's tohu wabohu? The word tohu can mean amorphous, wasteland, just pretty much a place of complete destruction, wiped out. And so that's tohu wabohu, and this being void or empty. So it's saying at this point, earth became a wasteland and it was empty. It had been wiped out. So I don't know of the creator to create anything that just is something that just, he created something to be a wasteland. He created a wasteland. We can go into other texts and we can show and prove. We can go into the book of Yeshayahu and show and prove that that's not the case. The earth was not. Matter of fact, while we're here and we're doing this video, because I think it's important for us to see this, for me to make this point. So we saw haaretz hayata tohu wabohu. Let's go and check in the book of Isaiah and see if we can find this. Matter of fact, I think I've already parsed it out. So bear with me while I do a little bit of searching through my memos. Got all kinds of stuff in here. Tell them what we see in my memos. My war chest is crazy. All right, so let's look and see. Yeah, Yeshayahu chapter 45, verse 18. So I've already completely parsed out every word of it. All right, so it's rendered as he that shall cause to exist, or that which causes to exist, Yod He Wahe, the creator of the atmosphere, he that is of the consortium of powers, who shaped and made the earth. He did not establish that which was created amorphous. This is Tohu. It was fashioned for habitation. He said, I am he that shall cause to exist, and none other. So that's his renown that, he causes to exist, or it causes to exist. So the earth it wasn't created and fashioned to be a wasteland. So it had to, at some point in time, become a wasteland because it was never made to be a wasteland in the first place. Let's get back over to the Tanakh. So hopefully that sheds a lot of light on that situation. The earth was never created to be that way. So what we're reading, just like we read in with Bereshit, meaning in a beginning, versus Bareshit, being in the beginning. We don't have it in the beginning. We have Bereshit, meaning in a beginning. So at this point, things are starting over. Things are being regenerated. Everything is being repopulated. All right, so let me see. Weharetz hayata tohu abohu. Wechoshek al pnei tohom. So wechoshek right here. Wechoshek, and that's and darkness. Al pnei. This is a construct chain. This is why you see the magef in the middle of al and pnei. Salakli. This means al means upon or above, and panay means like the face or the surface. So this is, we could say, upon the surface or upon the face. Tehum, salakli, tehum. This being the deep, or not so much the deep, the abyss, the primeval waters, the ocean. So wait a minute. This should bring about thought. If the ocean was already here. The ocean was already here. The ocean was designed to support life. It wasn't, and we've already seen that the earth was not designed to be tohu, to be a wasteland, to be amorphous. It wasn't designed for that. So are you telling me that the Creator created the ocean and created the earth, and they were a wasteland? But wait a minute, the ocean was already here. So some things should bring about thought and should bring about investigation. These things shouldn't just be left to chance and speculation. These are things that should be looked at and should be investigated. And you should really go through this with a fine-tooth comb, because a lot of things that people have been taught and a lot of things that people have learned don't go with the actual narrative. They don't fit the actual narrative. So we have we ruach. We start here. We ruach, where you see my finger. We ruach Elohim merachapet al pnei Hamaim. Okay, so where ruach, everybody's throwing this word around. My ruach, your ruach, their ruach. Everybody has a ruach. So what it means is air or breath. So it's the breath of Elohim, the breath of the pantheon, the breath of the consortium. Merachapet, it hovered or vibrated. Al Panay, we see that word again. This construct chain again, Al Panay, with the magef in the middle, looks like a hyphen or the dash. Panay has the construct form, suffix. The well, I don't think you'll be able to see it if I point to it, but I'll try. The two little dots, the tsere right there, the tsere and the yod, that puts a word in construct form, so it would be like saying of after it. So upon the face of, or upon the surface of, hamaim, upon the surface of the waters. All right. Wayomer Elohim yahi or, Wayomer. And it said, see, we get so caught up in thinking that the yod conjugation, so like you see the wow in this word here, wayomer, the first letter that you see is a wow. The wow meaning and. We see the yod, oftentimes people look at the yod conjugation and they think that it automatically indicates he, and it doesn't indicate he. It can be he or it. So, wayomer Elohim, literally this says, and it said, what said? Elohim, the pantheon, the group, the consortium. Why do we know this is a group of consortium? Because we have the Chirik Yod Mem under it. And again, like I was saying earlier, we would have to show in cognate languages, older languages, the third person, or excuse me, the majestic plural being used in this fashion, and is not there. We don't see it until we get to the Byzantine era. We don't see it. I think Justin Martyr was the first person to ever use it in a debate that he was having, and he interjected this. This was a Christian that actually interjected the majestic plural. So we don't see it in older languages being used in older literature that Hebrew is related to, and we can't go through and actually, go through and prove it using the book, using the Tanakh. We can't go through and show it. So if we can't go through and show it, we can't go back to older languages and see it. That idea just really needs to be tossed out because it's not valid. We're using constructs of our own mind versus what's actually there. And, some of these things are scary, but some of these things we have to learn to accept that this is just what it is. And there is a reason why this is like this. There is a reason. You can get into a deeper understanding, not like some spiritual, magical, level, or no, it's there really is a reason why it's like this, and you can readily research it. But Wayomer Elohim, and the Pantheon said, Yehi Or, let there be light, or be light, or become light. Wayahi Or, and there was light, or and there became light. Vayer Elohim et Haor. And again, the Yod conjugation, the second letter in this word, Vayer. And it saw the Elohim. It saw what? Because we have the direct object marker there. Haor, it saw the light. The Pantheon saw the light. Ki tov, it's good. It was good. Vayabdel Elohim ben Haor uven HaChoshech. All right. And it divided, and the Elohim divided, or an Elohim divided, or the Pantheon, the consortium divided, the consortium of divine ones, that's what I used to say for it. It divided, it made a division between the light, Haor. See, we have Ben Haor. It made a division between the light and a division between the dark, HaChoshech. Vayikra Elohim Laor, and the Pantheon, or the Elohim, or the consortium, called Laor. It called the light, Yom, day, V'lachoshech kara Laila. And the Lachoshech, and the darkness, into the darkness, it called Lila. It called it night, or called it evening, Salakli. Oh yeah, night, Salakli. I'm getting really far ahead of myself. So, Wayahi Ereb, Wayahi Boker, Yom Echad. Wayahi Ereb, Wayahi Boker, Yom Echad. And it was, Wayahi, and it was, or and it became, Ereb, evening, and it became, Boker, morning, Yom Echad, day one. So this can actually, you can actually relate this to older literature. You don't see Yahweh, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, Yahweh, Yehovah, the different names that, you know, he's called, or it is called, because technically Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh is a verb. It's not a noun. It's a tradition, it's a rabbinical tradition, as far as Yahweh, and saying that this is actually a name. You don't see him until chapter 2 of the book, and there's a reason why you don't see him until chapter 2, and all of this is readily, you can research all of this and find out, you know, what scholars say about it. You don't have to take my word for it at all. You can go and look it up for yourself and find out what it's really talking about, and why these two stories don't seem to mesh, and why they don't go perfectly together. As much as people would try to get these to fit, and they'll say, oh, you know, this was chapter 1 was being spoken of, and chapter 2 is the actual action of it happening. There's absolutely positively no indication in the text anywhere whatsoever that this is the case. It does not exist. It's not there. There is no indication that chapter 1 was, you know, that was what was spoken, and chapter 2 is when it was done. And the reason that we know that that's not so is because it's saying here that he actually did these things in real time. It says, and there was day 1. It doesn't say and there will be, or, you know, that it was future prophecy of something happening. It's saying that these things happened right then. So we can't assume and apply philosophy to the text because it's something that we don't understand, or something that makes us uncomfortable. If we're going to be real about the text, we got to be real about the text and what's actually there, and not just actually, you know, apply whatever thought that we would like to have, you know, add whatever thought we would like to have, because we know that in chapter 2, you know, it starts talking about, you know, that which causes to exist, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, that, you know, all these things are created by him, and that, you know, he creates man, and then he takes a rib from man, and he creates a woman, and it talks about, you know, there being a garden and going into the garden, and, you know, a mist coming up from the earth and watering the garden and everything. That's not what chapter 1 says at all. And the whole thought I mean, I don't know the root of the thought that, chapter 1 is saying that these things are going to happen in the future, or that they didn't happen right then, or that, this was it being spoken, and then chapter 2 is it actually coming into play, and actually being done. I don't know where that actually came from, but there are absolutely no indications. I think that people go to, when you get into chapter 2 and it says, and these are the generations of the heavens, or I think it says, and these are generations of the heavens and the earth. I believe that's what it says. That doesn't indicate that chapter 1 was something that was spoken, or that it was a summation of things that happened. It doesn't. It simply doesn't say that. Chapter 1 is what chapter 1 is. It says these things happen. It says, and thus far in the portion, because we're only going 1 through 5, we see that day 1, these things were created in day 1. We see that, okay, we've established that the oceans were already there, that the earth was already here, and that it was talking about a repopulation of these things, a reconfiguration of these things happening then. It's not, it doesn't say that it's speaking about in the future. When it speaks on the generations, because like in chapter 1, it's like whenever you read chapter 1, it's like, okay, we speak, these things happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have a consortium of things going on, and it's like we speak and it happens. Chapter 2 is more along the lines of, I'm going to come down and I'm going to actually fashion man as a singular individual. So we're going to continue. I'm going to go through more of this, pretty much break it down piece by piece, and hopefully it'll improve my public speaking, because when I'm actually reading and trying to think, I have so many things going through my head at one time that I want to say that, some things come out jumbled up, or some things don't come out right at all. So please forgive me as I try to improve as well and try to get better at this, so that hopefully we can bring forth more information. And I'm not, by no means am I saying that I have all the answers, by no stretch of the word. I'm nobody, and like I tell everybody, I know nothing. But I definitely would like to hopefully help coax people into learning and thinking outside the box a little bit. There's no reason to be religious. We should question everything. If you're staking your life on something, you should question everything, and it shouldn't be left up to others to decide for you what a text says. You should learn how to read it for yourself and learn how to tear through it yourself, so that you can make decisions that are better for you and decisions that are better for your family, and so that we can treat each other better, instead of trying to move on archaic ideas that the book never expressed in the first place. So with that being said, I guess I bid you all shalom. May peace be upon you, and may you have a wonderful and blessed day.